to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now it's 3 o'clock, so we can call the meeting to order. Minutes, resolution 26-144 to accept the minutes of the meeting of August 5th, 2026. Seeing that there's no move, I think we'll pass over that. No one wants to move it and second it?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'd move it and second it. I'll do both.
You move it and I'll second it.
It's the minutes. If we can't get past
No, I think...
We know if you can continue.
Let's move it along.
He's just going.
I'm done with these guys.
It's the fair. It's the fair.
Public comment. See what happens? They just fall asleep on us.
We're going to vote on
Allow
that.
members of the public to comment or reserve time to speak on an upcoming agenda item. Any members of the public here?
I do know we have a gentleman here, maybe two gentlemen here to speak on the request from Scotia Fire Department.
Okay, very good. We'll have you.
Get to that.
We'll get you, give you your time when the time comes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then that brings us to our workshop. Open the bids for police cruisers and jail transportation vehicle.
Mr. Chair, you have the bids that came in before the deadline of noon today, which was posted on the website. And when people looked at the RFP, they had to be in by noon. I do have one that came in from Height Chevy at 2:30 today. So I hold on to it to defer to see if you, as the board, would like to review this one or deny it because it didn't hit the deadline.
I will just say that I'll make a motion to accept that bid because it was not 3 o'clock when it came in. We haven't opened any bids. Is there a motion and a second for that?
I move that we accept this bid, although it is late, on the theory that I don't think any unfair advantage has been gained by this delay.
Is there a second before we have a discussion?
Second.
All right, now a discussion. We may continue.
I just don't think... I think maybe in the future, Heights should be cautioned that they should pay more attention to the unfair advantage gained by this delay. There's one. Let's get as many bids as we can.
And perhaps our next RFP, if we're going to be opening them, have it be 2:59 before we start our meeting. Once the meeting starts, but if they got it in, I'm happy. Is there any other discussion? All in favor? Good to go. Okay, so we will accept those bids.
Due to the fact that probably the police interceptor vehicles may include 26s or 27s, we left it open that way. If there were any vehicles that were still on the ground from 26s, that would have fine. I intentionally did not put a resolution on here to accept or award the bid today because we're assuming there might have to be some review done.
Yeah, generally that's how we roll. I'm going to open up the Somerset County Corrections van bid first. It's the only van bid we have, so I'll do that one first. And this will be easy. Okay. I need a sharp implement for this. Maybe I do.
I think he has one in his front of his. Folder.
Is there one in your book?
Yeah, there is one in my book, but it's just
It's too late now.
I'd probably use it on the other two. We have a bid for a 2027 Chrysler Pacifica Select all-wheel drive van. Bid price is $46,583, less the trade value of the 2015 Dodge Caravan for $2,606 for a total bid price of $43,977. Any other particulars? And that's from Height Chrysler Dodge Jeep. They also are providing, if we want, a extended warranty for $4,526, which brings it up to 120,000 miles. And so it's 7 years with a 250 disappearing deductible. So I would ask for a motion to. Did we have a motion in here?
There's not a motion on that one either. I can provide you a little more insight on that. We have a Chrysler Pacifica all-wheel drive right now.
Yes.
And that was purchased when I started, so it's less than 3 years old and it has 90,000 miles on it already.
Yeah.
The other vehicle that we've been using for general transport is the old, looks like a Dodge Caravan. That's the trade value. That has almost 200,000 miles on it, and it's in for repairs that we're not going to pay for right now, just because it's too costly. We have two other transport vehicles. One of them is over 90,000 miles, and the other one's probably at about 30,000 miles. But those are more equipped to transport with a cage and with the adjusted seats and so forth. And these Chrysler Pacificas have the cages and so forth and restraints in them, but they're really used for hospital runs and other. They're on the road all the time, as you can tell by the mileage. So, but I did not put a resolution. If you wanted to add one under the, new agenda items, you certainly could as a board.
Do you want to add it or do you want to wait? Gentlemen?
I don't mind adding it. This is in our budget, our capital.
We do. We have $120,000 in our jail capital vehicle line.
So-
This is something we saw coming.
We did. Yeah, with that old Dodge Caravan, we did.
That's why it went out. That's why we allowed it to go out.
So this is equipped specific for hospital runs?
So it'll be equipped with the same equipment, and again, this is where I'm naive of it, the same equipment that's on the current Chrysler Pacifica, which has the cage and restraints in it. It's used for hospital runs, but it doesn't have any medical equipment on it.
Okay.
Is this, if we have to take a prisoner to Washington County?
Yep. We have to transport someone to federal court, Portland or something like that.
But we don't transport, like the federal prisoner has to go to Portland. We have to transport him?
In many cases, yes.
Do we get reimbursed for that?
Yes, we do. We do get mileage reimbursed. Yes. I think I do.
What in mileage?
Wage and
Wage.
And where does that money go?
Goes into the jail revenue, all those items that make up the jail revenue. You'll see a federal transport.
It's not like tagged for replacement of vehicles.
No, not specifically.
not correct.
They're going to the general.
Well, I don't know. I think let's get it done. If we're going to get this van, let's put it on the agenda.
All right.
That would be my view.
We'll do that at the new agenda items.
Is this money that's in the capital for this for 2026 or 2027?
It's not designated for a specific
designated.
model year. My guess is that if it's a 27, it'll have to be ordered. So this will be a multi-step process for you. One is if you make a motion today to accept that bid, then it'll be ordered, and then when it's time to purchase it, you'll get a capital request to come before you for that amount.
So with the vehicles that we have, are we in any rush in terms of having to purchase this vehicle on a specific, need to right now?
Well, with the condition of the other Caravan as kind of sidelined, this is why we put the bid out as quickly as we did. So now that we're in this current fiscal year, we maybe could have waited if the Caravan wasn't giving us any problems, but it needs brakes. It didn't start. And so when we got the quote back, the sheriff said, let's just put out a bid for the next one.
We don't have to bid on it today. We can always wait and put it on the agenda next time.
I think that's where I would go with it.
You want to wait for the gentleman? Shall we wait? We'll have it on the agenda for next time then. Since we're going to do the same with these two, we'll just bring it up all at once. All right, I am opening up O'Connor GMC for the bid on the police vehicle for police cruisers. So instead of corrections, this will come out of the sheriff's line. And this is for like that. They have 5, and then in parentheses they have 2. 2027 Chevrolet Tahoes, 4-wheel drive, 4-door commercial. And for the 5, it's $290,660. $660. And what that is 58,132 times 5 to make up that almost 300,000. And then there is the extended warranty for $28,075, which is $5,615 times 5, for a total bid price of $318,735.
That's O'Connor's?
That's O'Connor's. So their extended warranty is 150,000 mileage in 5 years. Makes all.
Tim, do we usually get the extended warranties?
We normally don't get the extended warranties because we're, depending on the cruiser, we're usually over 100,000 miles by 3 years. But since we're going to take time between meetings, that's certainly something Chief Mitchell and I will discuss.
Yeah, you're going to be looking at that anyway.
Right.
We have another bid open. The rate bid. Let's see what they have to say. This is the same thing. 5, in parentheses 2, 2027 Chevrolet Tahoe, 4-wheel drive, 4-door commercial, make model Chevrolet Tahoe 2027, and their total bid is $299,175. There is no extended warranty included. So that's what they are doing. So there's a difference of $9,000, a little less than $9,000 between the two, but the extended warranty included in the bid item brings them over by almost $19,000.
I have kind of a stupid question. We're talking about buying 5 all at the same time?
So because they're 2027 models, and because the way Chevrolet does their police packages, they shut down Tahoe production twice a year. And for 2 weeks, they make police packages. So we don't really know if they just shut down and it's going to be another 6 months, or if it's a few months from now that they're going to be making these police packages. So once we get into a fiscal year, we like to put in our orders so that eventually these will come in. Now, we're past the supply chain issues that we had for the 23s and 24s.
And the engine issues.
And the engine issues with the 24s, right. So I think that if all 5 of them come in at the same time, I think that would be just in time for some of our 22 and 23 models that are getting close to 100 and 120,000.
I have a question from the gentleman in the back.
I represent O'Connor's. I don't believe that 2-week window of production is accurate.
Okay, that was shared with me.
Yeah, so GM was controlling allocation for orders. You had to actually apply and then get them, whether it was for county or police or whatever else. And then they would allow you to order what they would control. So the amount they allocated was still up to what they had for supply. But that is now open as of last year. So 26 is actually closed in July. And then Tahoe is now open for production. There is no restraint on police Tahoes. There's no 2-week window of production at any given time. They'll build them in the regular supply line that they want.
I will relay that to the chief who relayed that. Yes.
Yes,
Thank you. And you are?
Jeremy, I'm from O'Connor.
Jeremy, thank you for checking. Do you have a guesstimate if we place the orders, how long the turnaround would be?
I would have to place the orders to get a TP target production week, and then I would see then. But they get built in Fort Worth, Texas, and then they're shipped to an upfitter because they're police wired with lights and other things, the distribution block for power and everything else. They have to go to another company. That may take time, and sometimes it does, especially with the 2027 model you're just starting in September. But I mean, the best guess is 90 days to 120 days. I would not know until the order was placed.
So my question is, following up on my earlier stupid question, is like, do we have like a triage our existing vehicles? I mean, maybe there's one that we could run another 2 or 3 years without replacing, or do we have to get 5 new vehicles every other year or whatever? We're on a schedule, I know that. I'm just sort of wondering what underlies the urgency or the need or the theory that underlies the idea that we should spend all this money on vehicles.
I would gladly bring in myself and the chief and go over the vehicle inventory with you as it exists. And when I was on the budget committee with the county and then coming to work for the county, Patrick would always scare the heck out of us because Patrick's like, you need 8 vehicles a year because of the mileage that you put on.
Yeah.
And so,
well, I'm just wondering.
I think we, to the sheriff's credit, I think we have triaged this to the point where we're ordering 5 instead of 8.
Well, actually, it was 6, and we've already got one.
That's correct, right. We budgeted for 6.
Yeah.
So when you and then the budget committee approved the budget, the capital budget, that we planned on 6 for this fiscal year.
And we already bought one.
That's right.
Remind me what we paid last meeting for the Helldover cruiser.
I think it was 58,000. That's why I was surprised when I heard that 58 for the 27.
Yeah. So the other question I have is, because you mentioned the 22, 23s that are getting the mileage up where they're going to have to be, where are we with those in terms of what we do with those? Are those part and parcel trade-in for some of this, or do we auction them, or are they sold?
So typically what will happen is whoever the commissioners award the bid to, then the chief will start working with that individual when the orders come in. Because if it is a 120-day window, then we don't want to get into the trade business too early because things change. Typically they're traded, unless they can be used in the fleet somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then we end up trading the oldest other vehicle.
Is there any difference between the Tahoe package heights to, they're the same exact vehicle. It's not like an SLT model.
No.
No, as long as they were built accordingly to the specs provided, which was very detailed. I can't say that they are different. I haven't seen the actual specification submitted, so. But I did not, I personally was not obscured from the bid specs. I met all the specifications to the bid.
Thank you very much for doing that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for showing up.
Are there any model changes, 26 or 27?
No.
And these are all patrol vehicles, not the detectives.
So these are police
Police
packages.
packages, yeah.
Typically, what the detectives are using right now are older Ford Explorers.
But they're also wired up for police.
All police packages, yeah.
I don't see a reason to delay either of them is the van or these. We always ask for more bidders. Literally a bidder here. It's $8,000 to $9,000 less. All we can control is the budget.
Part of the bid reading was that I had outlined what they were per unit, so that I've had multiple units asked from other entities, and they wanted to know what it is per as opposed to a total.
Yeah.
That's why I outlined it, because if the county decides to do 3, or let's say they want to do 7 to get way ahead, that number is there. I believe what we're talking about as far as the repairs and mileage for the extended warranty, I think what I've talked to Mike before was, and that warranty quoted can be adjusted, but they seem to do a lot of miles in a short amount of time. That's why we've extended that warranty to cover the vehicle bumper to bumper. That's what else was quoted.
Does O'Connor provide a lot of police vehicles to municipalities in Kennebec County, I assume? And
Yes. Yep. Androscoggin County, Cumberland County.
oh, very good. So, I mean, I have an extended warranty on my car because I put a lot on. First of all, the warranty they give you isn't that great. So I have a Toyota. So
The mirrors, it's a mirror to their factory.
yeah. So I'm wondering, Tim, you say no extended warranty because
Well, typically,
we just exceed it so quickly it doesn't matter,
right, by the time 3 years is done, on most of these, we'll have over 100,000 miles.
and then it doesn't apply anymore. So unless we get like a 300,000 mile extended warranty,
I
it's not-
think to Jeremy's point, that's why they included
The
150,000.
quoted warranty was 5 years or 150 to maybe extend the life and the period of ownership.
Trying to clarity here. The 150 that we're buying that, it comes with a $100,000 mile powertrain.
Correct.
Yes. So we're covering that vehicle for 3 years. I do think the extended warranty is unnecessary. You're basically buying 50,000 miles, and you're going to get 1 year out of that.
Yeah.
Maybe by the 4th year, you're going to.
No, the extended warranty is bumper to bumper, like the factory warranty.
I understand, but
Okay.
but it's up to 150,000 miles,
Correct.
and based on our annual mileage performance, we're going to be at that number before the 4th year.
Within the 5 years.
Well, early.
Correct.
So we're buying something that would typically extend in 5, which we're not going to get in the 5. So I don't know if there's as much value to that. We have a maintenance budget. If we need to adjust it, we adjust it.
Well, yeah, there's the mileage for the year.
Yes.
Whichever comes first.
Yes, sir.
While you're here, what does the, or was that on this one? No, it was on the other one. I was going to ask what the disappearing, the disappearing deductible meant, but that's not on your bid. It's on the other bid.
So I specifically put in there that there was a 0 deductible to mirror the factory warranty. It just helps with that interim of somebody dropping it off and then my shop going, somebody owes me a deductible. And then we bill the county or we bill somebody and then somewhere it gets lost. So we just Make it easy, they're deductible.
Now, I'm really glad you're here, because all these questions I've been building up for 4 years, now I get to ask. So when you sell a vehicle to Cumberland County, did they bring it up to you in Augusta to get fixed, or do you have?
The premier warranty is nationwide, any GM dealer.
Okay, so there might be, like we typically deal with Heights up here for everything, so if we got vehicles from you folks, we wouldn't, generally speaking, we'd take them down to Heights too. And they got to fix them whether they like it or not.
Yep, the warranty is nationwide.
Okay.
I've sold vehicles to the county, to the sheriff's department.
Right.
This one?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were here.
that's right.
A few
Ron was not here.
I was here.
You were here.
Yeah, but mostly it's
It wasn't too long ago.
No.
Did that?
No, we just did that. Yeah.
But trust me, they make more money on service than they do selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably very accurate.
Do we need a motion to make a resolution or?
So then we're going to wait until the next
Next
meeting.
meeting.
Well, I think you've had two different opinions on that.
Yeah,
So
let's have a motion on it.
So
Decide.
if you want to follow the agenda, I would recommend item G, new agenda items. That's your opportunity to make a motion to add something
But it's,
Item G.
for the
We'll get it, item G.
for the other
Hold on to your.
workshops that are here.
Yeah, good.
Give them some time. Because Dave's going to need about an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, this is.
Thank you for your time.
while we're,
I don't want to wait for his hour and a half.
Hey, thanks for
Good
having us.
all right. So our second workshop is to discuss the request for opioid settlement funds from Skowhegan Fire Department.
So yes, you should have a 1 or 2 pager in your packets. And Anthony, Deputy Chief, at the Scotty Fire Department, is here. So just to give you a little precursor, I've noticed, I've been contacted by a couple different entities saying that vendors are doing their due diligence that sell to fire departments and EMS, saying, hey, these purchases are covered by the opioid settlement funds. So, vendors doing their due diligence. But I believe that you're probably going to see some of these emergency services, fire departments, come before you to ask for some opioid settlement funds to kind of help them with their rescue. And one of the things that appealed to me when Anthony approached me on this was one of the things that you as commissioners have been talking about, the length of time it takes for an ambulance to get to a scene where fire is probably already there. So with that, I'll let Anthony just maybe say a few words about it.
My name is Anthony Barton. I'm the Deputy Fire Chief. I actually just started in my role in January. I live in Clinton. That's my hometown. I've been there for 21 years on the fire department. I worked full-time for the city of Augusta for 8 before I came up here to work. So one big thing in my career has always been like ALS services, as the fact that I am a paramedic. Here in Skowhegan, we operate at the BLS level. We work very closely with Reddington Fairview EMS to respond to serious calls here in the town of Skowhegan. So if somebody was having chest pain, unresponsive, overdose, cardiac arrest, something like that was to happen, we get dispatched simultaneously and respond to that. The one big thing that we've communicated since I started was the calls that we have mutual aid services come. So I believe if you were to follow the Facebook account, and A&M just posted an update that they did mutual aid 24 times, and I'm assuming a majority of those were probably in Skowhegan. So anytime an outside agency responds here to the town, we get the sent to that as well. So one big win for Maine EMS is that our protocols and everything are truly being pushed down to a more basic level, so that more towns, more EMS providers, advanced EMTs can do life-saving skills prior to that ambulance necessarily getting there. So these monitors that, I don't know if you have information in front of you, but These ones are actually from like a refurbished type unit that gets completely gone through and then sold back out for a very much reduced price. They're kind of like the next big step in our service, being utilizing our basic skills to the fullest, but also communicating with the town of Skowhegan in the future about licensing up to either an advanced level or even up to a paramedic level, depending on how far we get with that. So he is correct. It was a vendor that kind of sent us out. This is the company that I worked with on this was actually one that sent us quotes way back in February, and not the vendor that emailed me, but we're always looking for a potential revenue source of making our service a little bit safer, I guess, making it a little safer for our community and residents when they are waiting for a 911 call. So these monitors, again, depending on what you're doing, we can do EKGs and 12 leads so that at the point of contact, if something was going wrong with your heart, then we capture that and we can hand it to a paramedic who would hand it to a doctor and say, this happened at 15:10 in the afternoon, but it's gone away or it got better. And you can kind of see those things. As you introduce up into those license levels, which would our goal be in the next, in the future, those move over into being actually able to do manual defibrillation and cardioversions.
Can I interrupt just for a second? 'Cause
Yep.
when you talk about the licensing upgrade, so you're
Yep.
talking about people in the field, they get an upgrade in their skill level so they can, what are we saying here? So, I mean, I think I understand what you're saying, which is as the training gets pushed down further to your workforce, there are more people that are able to use
Yeah.
this stuff in the field right away.
Yeah, in our service, there's basic EMTs, advanced EMTs, and paramedics. In here in Skowhegan, there's 3 of us that are paramedics. There's a handful that are advanced EMTs, a bunch that are basics, and depending on what license level makes it so this becomes...
It's like a basic can't use this right now.
They can use it, yeah, you can do EKGs and 12 leads, you're just not able to interpret what that actually says. So, there is like other airway equipment and stuff that we would have to come up with out of our budget and stuff, but that license, Maine EMS license is the one that, in order to even think about doing all that stuff, you have to have a cardiac monitor.
So my question is, with the opioid funds, we've mostly kept that within the county. And I was wondering where we were with our expenditures on that and what's projected for the opioid funds within the county, because we've been using it.
So when you say within the county,
County government.
we've dedicated more than 90% of the opioid funds we've received to help offset our drug treatment programs at the jail, which obviously fits underneath that criteria. That being said, we've been fortunate that the sheriff and Dr. O'Connor have done an incredible job with grants so that we really have not tapped into much of those opioids. And the whole goal is to bridge the gap to the 1115 waiver, which allows inmates to activate their Maine care while they're incarcerated, which would cover much of this opioid treatment. So,
We've been waiting for that for
and you
eternity.
will be waiting for that to at least 28, 29. But still, long story short, we have currently about $800,000 unspent of the opioid recovery settlement funds that we've received today. We've had a couple of requests from Somerset Public Health. We do utilize some of those funds to have a Reddington employee at the jail. Betsy Richard, you've met her before. And we've done a small $6,200 grant to Kennebec Behavioral Health. So when, and you guide me, you tell me what to do. So when other entities approach me about opioid spending, I set it up with a workshop and bring it before you. If there's another path you want to go, let me know. But in my opinion, there's more than enough funds to take a look at each one of these on a case-by-case basis.
Well, that's what I was concerned about. I didn't want our own selves to come up short.
Right.
And I do believe that we're communities, and as a community, I do want to help. So,
Ideally, with some of what you're talking about, I've had first-hand experience over the last couple of months being on the rescue squad for the fire department in my little town. 2 months worth of being on there, I've responded with the fire department, with the EMTs, EMS, from the fire department to 25 calls. The standard right now is for fire departments to be called out to these medical situations in lieu of ambulance arrival, because we are in dire straits in our ambulance services. So from my perspective, this type of thing could be the key thing that could help us to resolve our public safety issue when it comes to emergency first response. I have no problem dropping $35,000 just for that reason.
I think that was like the biggest thing that I wanted to make sure was like reiterated in the document that I gave you, that like, the people that work up on top of that hill are some of the best paramedics, EMTs in the county, as well as our mutual aid services, and I don't want to take away from anything that they're doing. And we don't have ambulances up on the hill. We probably won't have ambulances up on the hill, but in the heat of the moment, when something bad is going on in front of you, for us to have that opportunity to get somebody back. And I can give you a quick example that on September 17th, we're actually having a recognition moment, but last week there was a gentleman that had an electrocution at an industrial place here in Skowhegan, and it was the workers from there that started CPR and were able to use a defibrillator, and they saved his life, and he's back home with his family today.
That's good.
Now, that being said, like in that same moment, if he wasn't in a shockable rhythm or anything like that, like those are the moments where, again, Maine EMS has made it so our protocols would, again, licensing hopefully in the future, we can start IVs and give epinephrine, and we can do those things. That could potentially be another life-saving moment. So I can give kudos to the staff for their efforts. They did amazing.
And we're finding more and more that the fire departments have EMS and EMT trained individuals on these departments. So to have this kind of thing in place is, a lot of the calls are medical calls for elderly, but you can't, may not be necessarily a dire emergency, but you've got to respond to these calls, and that's what's filling up our ambulance services and causing the departments to have to send out their guys from the fire departments in lieu of response to ambulance response time. So
yeah, sometimes it's holding somebody's hand for the 15 or 20 minutes and it's calms them down and waits for a service, or if you're waiting 15 or 20 minutes with a severe trauma or cardiac.
I mean, this is a fitting place for that money to be spent, as far as I'm concerned.
John?
Well, I'm just curious. I mean, I support. Does Skowhegan get opium settlement? The towns don't get it.
It only goes to the counties and the larger cities benefits on it.
So we historically have we have a community benefit funding program. We're happy usually to buy equipment for ambulances and paramedic type services throughout the county from our TIF funds. It's a little unusual, really, for someone to come and say, let's tap the opioid funds.
Yeah, and like I said, he is very correct, and that's the truth. Honestly, I wasn't even aware that. Actually, I shouldn't say that. In the city of Augusta, when I worked down there, I actually think they utilized it for staffing at one point. So,
this is not something you'd ask the town of Skowhegan for, because there's opioid money there. It's sort of what it's for. Although it's not just for it's not just for opioid overdoses. It's for any kind of.
Yeah, it's education, it's medical equipment, it's
for any
program out there to do that. So unfortunately, like we would obviously rush to get there in order to do the Narcan and airway type stuff, but if you're not there on time, the next thing is respiratory arrest and cardiac arrest. So.
No?
I would caution us using opioid settlement money for this.
Or can you speak up?
I would caution us using opioid settlement money for this. I have no problem supporting it. I have no problem putting it in the community benefits fund. But we have a lot of fire departments in our county, and that the sheriff depends on that opioid settlement money a lot to run that drug treatment program that is doing so well in our county. And I have no problem supporting them. Fine. I just
You're opening Pandora's box. It's gonna come, if one knows, they'll all know, and I appreciate that, but they're coming, and it's just like,
It's a
and
valid
the sheriff's
thing.
gonna say, I need to do this program, and we're taking 35 grand to whack out, or whatever it might be, because there's no limit on that one, there's a limit on the others. We could end up with a $100,000 grant here for someone trying to justify a fire department thing, and that's a whack on it that the sheriff can't take for his opioid money, for that. I'm just saying, I have no problem supporting the man. I think what he's doing is right. I don't arguing that, but
I can support that also, like, this is a refurbished unit, so too, that, like, actual brand new monitors are much more expensive.
yep, and so I just,
Yeah, $120,000 more expensive, yeah.
Well, and I think I'm agreeing with you to the extent that
I'm not opposed
this came in as a request for community benefit funds.
Definitely.
I'd say sure, although I don't know, it would violate our matching grant limits, but.
It would actually, it can't come out of TIF, because that's.
No, not TIF.
So you can't do that.
community benefit fund if you come on, right?
Yeah, but that's,
It's not right now.
we would only be able to match
15
up to
grand.
15 grand.
Yep.
Well, we do have exceptions.
I am concerned that we just watched it in the community benefit fund, or where it was, where 3 fire departments all asked for the same $15,000 for the same exact thing in the ambulance service, and it's needed. I'm not suggesting it's not. It is, but we just literally watched the transgression of that go, where all 3 of them lined up and were like, yep, and this same thing, and the sheriff is not going to be pleased if we start raiding this money. He depends on this for the drug money for the jail, and he's not here to defend himself.
There's also probably 3 to 4 times more funds going into the community benefit each year compared to the opioid settlement.
Up for the next 10 years. Well, they're both probably about the same, I suppose.
So community benefit has about 10 years left on it. We're probably into the 11th year now, I think.
Well, these are the times we are living in. I mean, this medical equipment is extremely expensive. The need for sort of rural ambulances and paramedic services, et cetera, is increasing all the time in towns. They kind of we seem to have more money than the towns for this purpose, and it's what we do. So I'm all for supporting these. Improving the regional ambulance emergency services seems to be kind of our new important county function these days.
So you have about 15 years left on some of the opioid settlement funds. So those are going to be stretched out. To Patrick's point, they typically bring in $100,000, $110,000 a year. If you wanted to approach this more strategically, if you wanted to, you could identify X amount of dollars every year from opioid spending to set aside for projects like this. I don't share the same fear looking at the numbers and meeting with Patrick and the sheriff and Dr. O'Connor every month to go over our SUBLOCADE budgets and grants and so forth. I don't have the fear we're going to exhaust this money anytime soon.
And that's why I asked where we were, to get an idea if we were going to harm our own programs.
Right. You know off the top of your head, Patrick, have we used any of the settlement
At
funds?
the end of September, we'll know a lot more.
What's the end of September?
We'll know whether we get one of those grants. We get one of those grants, then I have no issue.
Right.
But if we don't get that grant, and we've only got $250,000 left in grant funding for SUBLOCADE.
How big is the grant?
The one talking about is what, $3 million, but spread over 5 years.
Yeah, it's $3 million over 3 to 5 years.
But if we got that, then that would bridge the gap to the Maine care, and then you could personally utilize the opioid funds to whatever you want. But right now, we don't know that.
We have been depending on that main care thing, or hoping for that for a while, and I do agree with Tim that it's a ways away, if at all. And that's a crapshoot. We have been blessed by a lot of grants to support our Southern Paid program at our jail. We've been very blessed to receive those. But our sheriff has sat here multiple times saying, I need that program. I'm not willing to. I am 100% in supporting the EMS services. I want to. I wouldn't do it at the peril of that another program up in jail. You're getting right to the root of the problem through the drug opioid money to the opioid people that are dependent on it. So find another way, and I'll give you money. That's my own opinion. That's one.
Well, what we're doing now is this is just
Yep.
a workshop.
Yep.
Well, we're not going to make any decisions today at this point.
And another workshop, the idea would be to give them half from the opioid funds, and that could be the seed money for a matching grant from our community benefit funds. No, we just split the baby and get half and half.
Can't do that.
You have the discretion to do whatever you want with community
I
benefit.
know, we can give them the whole thing, and we have made exceptions in the past. We have the money, it's a worthy purpose, and we do it all the time, and we should keep doing it.
And I think back to Commissioner Seekin's point, and you've all made the same point, is what is the county's role in propping up and supporting emergency services?
You know, and I think that if we look at it correctly, what is public safety, whether it's law enforcement or it's medical services or emergency first response services? It's the core of your county, and if you're not there, it's going to negatively affect your county. If you build on it and you get it to where it needs to be, yes, it's going to cost money, but it's a necessity. Okay, we've got an ambulance service that is looking at probably pulling out of a lot of the areas that they're covering right now. It's the rumored situation. So, inevitably, as we look at this going forward, you know, regardless of what we can use for these funds to help support these kind of situations, we're going to run into spending money to make it need to be what it needs to be. So, I think this is less risk this way. That's just my opinion, and I think the $35,000 will go to extremely good use. So.
Don't disagree. I have a little different view in the sense that do we keep putting Band-Aids on these things? Are we at the point where, as a county, this is hardly even discussion up on the hill for dispatch, maybe we need to support a county rescue, and this money all needs to go to that and not be buying. Maybe we need to start a county rescue because we can't keep having them pull out and they're not making money. And if we can subsidize it with wind power or whatever, all these other programs, maybe we have to put a budget line in for a rescue squad. But then the people know we're doing that, and that's okay. So maybe that's a broader discussion on how to solve that problem of getting services across our county. And utilizing all of them, just put the money into that EMS side of things. I'm not opposed to that, but looking at a creative solution across the board, I think to look at all the solutions, to analyze them, it would be more budget, 100%. It would cost more money. But we're providing the service that Scott commented about, and I agree, we have to provide service.
Oh, I do too.
We can't be without
It's important. And I think it's important that we support our communities.
Yeah, and if we have a robust and well-run mutual aid system throughout the county, we basically are having a countywide emergency service program, I assume, and it's probably, I don't see the need to create a whole new county office doing that. That would be much more expensive.
Well, the problem is
But I don't know, really. We have
You
to
get into
understand.
Bingham where they're volunteer firemen, they don't have the licensure that Anthony has, or that the full-time departments have.
Right.
And that's the problem, is these remote areas that our county covers, they're not licensed to do any of it. They aren't even basics, they're firefighters. So to rely on that network of people, it's scary. That's
It is. It's the volunteer fire departments versus municipal, and St. Albans is municipal, and that's why we were able to to do what we did there to put that rescue service in, the volume of training is a little less than voluntary, but it's not that much. Maybe you can, because there are mandates that are coming from the state now that are required for volunteer as well as municipal. So all of this is going to, I mean,
It'd be nice to have a study group or someone actually really diagnose the problems of providing the service across a county like ours and coming up with the best ways of doing this.
I think like one also big thing to remember is like Burlington Fairview provides the service for free. So they have 3 ambulances up on the hill that nobody pays for besides.
We're talking about that hill, not that hill.
Right, yeah. Burlington Fairview's ambulances, like the town of Skowhegan does not pay for an ambulance service. They pay for fire department rescue service. But transport-wise, I'm sure you guys are seeing it with Fairfield, right? Like, look at the prices it costs to do transport service. And we are very grateful for that $0 transport bill. So.
Yeah, and we have a transport bill that comes from Delta. And Fairfield is formulating their own transport. But to be able to do the transport, you have to have a paramedic.
Yep.
You can't have the less. So.
Well, it sounds like you've morphed into another workshop. So,
It's much more than just one work. Yeah.
right.
It's a broad problem that needs to get addressed.
And it's not, it's a statewide
It's not going to go
problem,
away. It's going to get
But
worse.
it's a problem that the counties
Yep.
can handle better tax-wise than the towns can, where an ambulance is $1 million now, or $500,000. It's still incredibly expensive, and for one town to foot that bill, where a full county can pick up an ambulance.
I guess I don't look at this. I guess I don't look at this as much as something that opens Pandora's box as I do a solution to what a very big problem is. Because if we can set up things like this within these departments, and we can be the standard for towns and others to set up this first response service in lieu of ambulance response, which is oftentimes 30 to 45 minutes out, depending on where you are, then I think it would be less cost to the county overall if we look to a program pushing this way and then working on the overall response service as we go along. But that's just my...
I think we have the infrastructure in the county already to at least start a study group, and that's with our own emergency management department, who hosts fire chief meetings and local response meetings on a regular basis. So I can certainly meet with Sarah and Tammy with the comm center and say, if you were to start a study, who would you pull in? And just start going down through that list and bringing some people together.
Okay. But I kind of wish the sheriff was here to give us more insight as to the opioid budgets and how he feels about that.
If you want to take this up at the next meeting, I'm sure the sheriff will be able to
I
attend.
think we should.
Yeah.
Have you got a time constraint on this money?
On tonight?
I mean, getting the 35,000.
No, this is just like we started a committee within our fire department of like where is our EMS at now and where do we potentially want to see it at in the future and
Just saying you don't need a quick answer on this.
no.
And I think Patrick's answer is pretty important too. Did we get a big grant?
Numbers.
To not have to worry about it. That's
No, I understand that. I think that at least we have some time to suss that out, see where we land on the grant. But in the meantime, we need to continue the conversation, and we really appreciate that you kind of open that door to this conversation to be more fleshed out, as it were.
Okay.
So thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Our third workshop is to discuss need for bridge repairs in the unorganized territory.
It's the one you've been waiting for.
Well, this is only going to be
the introduction, the first one.
So is this going to have the same materials they use in Old Town?
What?
Dinner.
The same materials that they used in Old Town?
No.
Yeah,
It's embarrassing, huh?
bad
That's one of
example.
those things where the engineer better go on vacation and not come back for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway.
Thank you, sir.
We have 5 bridges that are monitored by DOT. They send us reports every year and point out what things are going wrong. And we've been getting reports every 2 years for a while. Then when they get worse, we get them every year. And we finally started moving on some of these. Last fall, I got permission from the commission here to go out to an engineer, Colwood Engineering, who we hired before, to take a look at the Upper Sandy Bridge in Lexington Township. It's on the back road. It's our largest bridge. One page that I gave you is a letter and plans to replace the bridge. They inspected it, they looked it all over and determined that replacing it is a better option than repairing it every couple of years. They planned it out. They sent us a letter estimate of $765,000. Big chunk of money. It's not a have-to-do project. It's a commission decision if you wanted to save taxpayer money and just block the bridge off. Each end of the road has access out to Long Falls Dam Road. The back road is very well maintained, repaired, it's in beautiful shape, so it won't have too much effect other than maybe an extra mile of driving to get out to the Long Falls Dam Road. So that is an option if the commissioners are looking at the bottom line of the budget. We can budget for this to be repaired next year. We'd have to go out to an RFP to have the bridge replaced. And with a budget cycle coming up this fall and winter for FY28, I could certainly budget money towards this bridge. We currently have $323,000 in our bridge account. So if we don't pave next year, because we've been paving sections of the Long Falls Dam Road further up the road, we could repurpose some of that money that I would normally budget towards paving and put it into bridges. So I can work around gaining money enough to replace this bridge, if that's your determination. But it's not the only option we have. Paul Lightbody, our road consultant, took over July 1st. He was on vacation this week, or he would be here to talk to you also. So he and I will get together and we'll look at these bridges. This is the major bridge. I know we've looked at it, but we haven't had a lot of discussion about what our options are yet. But we've got time. This is just a heads up for the big dollar sign that has to be budgeted for. If we decide to replace it, I need to know that before the final budget goes in. So that's my viewpoint on it. I hate to see it. I don't want to feel like we're taking a step backwards because if you can't maintain, your infrastructure, you're losing ground. So, if you want to keep going, keep the county going, then we replace the bridge. But it's not a must-have. Nobody's losing access to their properties. So it's a well-maintained road. You just go north or you go south from your house to get out. That's the only difference.
I guess I would be concerned about what would be the extra travel time for any rescue vehicles. Fire,
Rescue
ambulance.
vehicles will not really be affected because the entire loop from the Long Falls Dam Road, which kind of goes like this road forms like a D. It's like a D. It's the Long Falls Dam Road. And the bridge is located towards the upper end on the back side. the other side of the street. And whether you go in this way or you go up along Cross Dam Road and in there, you'll have very little time difference. Won't have much difference at all for emergency responders. It's more convenience. I mean, it's not a necessary.
Since most every emergency response would be coming from the south,
Yeah.
they would just have to make sure that the 911 is communicated that that bridge is no longer there.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have to do all that prep work and everybody get the maps updated and do everything for 911 so they know that there's no longer all the way through the road.
Right.
But that's an option we can look at in the future. We need to know right now. I figured if it is something we wanted to look at, we could have a public hearing and get some views from the public. Because, from my standpoint, the person that is most affected if that bridge isn't there is our plow contractor. Because he goes in one end, and he plows all the way down through and then comes back out along Cross Dam Road. So if the bridge isn't there, he's going to have to plow the bridge, turn around, come back out, then drive around and to get back into the northern part of the valley.
But when driving around, how much is that?
Extra 6 miles maybe?
Oh, okay.
That's everybody else, they're just going to go out to Long Falls Dam Road and go wherever they're going from there.
Is the problem with this bridge associated with new standards that have been set, or is it really in real rough shape?
Underneath, you're getting a lot of rust and corrosion on the steel. Top of it's in pretty decent shape.
And they don't have any anti-corrosion stuff like this spray on it?
It's repair work, yeah. You could, one of the big problems is with that is you got to go into the sandblast or blast off all the paint that's already on it. You've got a nice running stream, a big running stream. Right.
Well, the damage of putting a whole new bridge in there is probably the same as sandblast. Obviously, that's a very compelling argument.
Well, it is concerned with that too, but I think sandblasting would be worse. But we'll kind of look into that more, and we can determine. But we're going to have Robert Ledward come in, and he'll kind of go through a lot of this. He's got an engineering degree, so he's going to know certainly more about it than I will.
So that's just one bridge out of 5.
Yes, we're going to talk about the others now.
Okay.
The other ones are small bridges, and the major problem with every single one.
Can you define I'm looking at estimated distances and type of guardrail before you go further. Like, I don't know what approach departure with a new bridge. Is there a new bridge or do you need a new bridge?
For the Upper Sandy Street?
That's that one. And then approach departure, repair to existing guardrails. So you're just saying fix how they get onto the bridge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want a clarification.
Yeah. We have 4 others that we all get reports on. They all need something done. One of the ones is an extremely low-use bridge, and we actually had to lower the guardrails. It's one that the commissioners wanted to replace about 20 years ago. We had a meeting here, which I attended, but I wasn't involved with roads that much at that time. And they basically picked the highest cost bridge, and they put a very nice bridge in there. But it accesses basically an island that's surrounded by the Kennebec River for the most part. And it is a giant cornfield. You've got 2 houses.
Which one is this?
This is Cool in Concord. Cool Road.
Oh.
And that is one that I would not spend $1 on. If I spend any money, it would just be replacing some of the dented guardrails that are already on the bridge from snowplows. Occasionally they catch it, or maybe it's a farm equipment. If we had to lower the existing guardrails and we put them in with that first bridge, because you couldn't get the equipment to harvest corn across the bridge with the guardrails high, so they had to lower the guardrails. So one of the complaints is, oh, the guardrails are too low. Well, they're low for a reason. So I don't worry about that bridge. I don't really care what the state says.
So the only person who uses this bridge is a farmer to get his equipment out on the cornfield on the island?
There's 2 houses on the other side. One I know is full-time residents.
On the island?
Yes.
So that's like a one-way, this is not a through route.
No.
It's a dead-end road.
Dead
It's a
end.
bridge on a dead-end road that
Yeah.
ends on an island in the Kennebec River.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the bridge is perfectly healthy other than the low guardrails.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, they had a big flood there back in 23?
I'm surprised, and
Three.
what makes
And
this a
the
county
road
road?
both
Why,
ends, But it didn't bother the bridge.
why isn't this just like a private road the farmer owns? Why is this a county road?
It's always been a county.
Yeah, I was gonna
Well, that's
say-
not a good reason.
It was a town road when Concord was a town. And Concord deorganized, and you inherited it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. It's not a bridge I worry about. Once the bridge is up and the bridge is solid, they spent a lot of money fixing that bridge.
Do we
So-
plow that road?
Yes, we plow that road.
Are we inheriting more bridges with the organization of the other place?
So Highland Plantation, you know off the top of your head if there's any bridges up?
I don't
Up.
know of any. I know Longfalls Dam Road stayed in that section. So we won't have to worry about any other bridges because they get washed out. In fact, a good part of the road got washed out in 23. You were literally kind of swerving around great big huge holes trying to get up. That was severe.
We'd have to dig out that,
Something we want to look
that
at.
plan, because they provided the plan, they told
Yeah.
us.
They
They
did,
did.
they did. I just don't know.
okay,
We'd have to go back and look at it.
so far we've got the Cool Road, which we can basically do nothing on.
Right.
And we've got the Upper Sandy Stream Road, which we can just
Yeah,
decommission.
that's the bridge. But
Okay, so far so good.
Clark is the name of the bridge, even though the stream is a little Alder Brook. I don't know where the Clark name came from, but that's the bridge name. Of course, they all have numbers, but you don't need to worry about those. That's also in Lexington. It's on the last Roundup Road. There are two major culverts that are 6-foot culverts. They go under the road side by side. And because there's that much open space, the state, it's a bridge. They don't treat it as culverts. So last year, or actually, we finished it this spring, we put in slip lines. So we put in the plastic tube and we cemented all the way around it. We made it wider, so the road above can be wider. But there's never been anything to keep people in the road. And the state wants us to put guardrails there. So I called a couple of the companies to get an estimate on linear feet. And that's how they kind of measure culvert installation by linear feet. It can be as low as $45 or $50 if it's just normal roadside. But going across bridges, or if you have it attached to a bridge, then it can be upwards of $75 per linear foot. So I wrote down here, I estimated, very rough. It was done on a map in my office, just measuring on my Esri software, my ArcView. And I came up with about 770 feet. I think it'll actually be less than that once we get out and measure. But that's an estimate. So
Of guardrails.
yeah, of guardrails. So that looks like around $60,000.
And what's the guard, so this is just gravel, it's dirt road or paved road?
This is dirt.
And the gravel is piled on top of these culverts?
Yes.
As a road surface?
Yep.
So the guardrails go down through the gravel and they
Yeah.
don't impact the culverts?
That's an issue that needs to be looked at, because I don't know anything about guardrails, but they were asking me. I was talking, this conversation with Superior in Oakland, and they asked me about depth. And apparently guardrails go down 7 feet. I didn't know they went down that far. So we may have to do something a little bit different across these culverts. Running up to them and going off departure will do normal. That will be fine. But we may need to do something a little bit different right over the culverts themselves.
And is there a problem just in replacing culverts now? They say we don't want culverts because the turtles can't get through and you need to have a regular bridge where culverts once were. We ever had to replace this? Do you know anything about that?
No, we've never had to replace these culverts.
That's more along the lines of stream crossings that municipalities can apply for grants for, to put in a 8 or 10 foot box culvert, and they actually have lanes for the turtles.
Right. And
I'm not making that up.
no, I know it's important. And fish too. It's good. It's good stuff, but I know it's extremely expensive.
And they did one on Schuster Road in Madison.
We did one on the Moluccas Road.
One of the bad things is what they call hanging culverts. one end of the culvert where the water comes out is not extreme level. There's one on Jackson Pond Road in Concord that just sticks out and then drops. The water just goes and falls down about 10 feet.
That's tough on
Get to where the water goes from there. That would never fly now. When they did it, I guess nobody from the state was watching. So that's one of the runoffs from Jackson Pond. So literally fish in Jackson Pond,
If
but
I'm,
not coming out.
I'm sorry, Dave, if I'm reading this right, your 770 feet of guardrail work is a total of all 5.
Yes.
So if you chose not to do the Cool Road and chose not to do Upper Sandy, there's 280 feet that come off that
Yeah.
770.
Yeah, this is very rough. And I do think Bob and I will probably measure these, unless he's got a lesson measure where he doesn't need someone to hold the other end of the tape. You know, it's very rough.
It looks like we have the money to take care of the bridges. Other than the decision on the replacement, which we can have a public
Yeah,
hearing on.
yeah, we can get the
We're in good shape.
we can get the guardrails done. We've got the funds already for that. But I just want to give you an update because almost all of these, one I haven't mentioned yet, it's an interesting one. That's on Bog Brook up at Dead River. Trouble with that are the culverts. The culverts on the drain. The guardrails are again too low. One reason they're too low is because when we pave the road gets taller, which makes the guardrails get lower, and we just paved it again. So I decided we need to fix this properly. We need to elevate, get a little taller guardrails there. But several of these bridges have been posted for weight. The one on Upper Sandy Stream, the biggest one we talked about replacing, that's been restricted to, I think, 40,000 pounds. Doesn't stop some people from driving heavy loaded, triaxle dump trucks across it, but it's posted by DOT. And the one up on the Long Falls Dam Road, the upper end in the Dead River, that one's posted for 3-axle vehicles. I think it's 25 tons for 3-axle vehicles. But if you're a regular logging truck or water trucks come down this road all the time from the pump station, they're much more weight, but they're also 5-axle. They're not 3-axle. So they're actually 6-axle. I think they have one. Yeah.
So Bog Brook, we're just talking about replacing the guardrails.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks pretty solid.
Yeah, there's a wing that is rotating. They do that with all the weight going down. As they start moving away, they start migrating away from the weight. But it's small enough, so it's been like 1/4 of an inch in a couple of years since they last measured. We've had to fix
What are you talking about?
the wings, the concrete's on the side.
That's actually moving, the concrete?
Yeah. Yeah, we had that happen on the Lake Moxie Road. There's a bridge up there called the 1.5 Mile Road, 1.25 Road, bridge. And that also had a wing that was rotating out. So we actually hired Colwood Engineering. They planned it, and then we had CF Loose, I think it is. They came in, did the work, and they dug a hole in the road, put in a big piece of concrete, bolted that, which is a dead man, they call it dead man, I think, and bolted that to the wing that was moving, kind of cranked it back a little bit, and then buried everything. So that will hold it in place. So we've already done some bridge repair while I've been working. The only guardrail work we've actually done was removing guardrails off the rock road. So they were getting in the way of our plow trucks. We decided let's just take that out. It's not necessary. So we did that. But I figured it's time to get these bridges taken care of, get the guardrails done. We'll make the state happy.
What about Michael Stream, though?
Michael Stream is just up around the corner on the back road from the Upper Sandy Stream. Very small bridge. It's short. Guardrails on that. It's a single-lane bridge. They've been hit quite a bit by plows or other equipment, and the guardrails are barely hanging on. It's not a particularly dangerous, in my opinion, because You know it's there, and there's a 90-degree turn right after it. So nobody's going across this bridge fast enough to lose control and wind up in the brook. So we're going to, I mean, it's one we're going to take care of. If we've got to replace the guardrails, and we get the company up here to do guardrail work, they'll do everything that we need to have guardrails fixed on.
I think you should go for an RFP.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the, and I minus the ones you don't want to have on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. This is preliminary.
You budgeted your money, you got your money. I'm proud of you. You did a good job. It's fixed.
When we do the bridges, in all these reports, I knew I had to start funding those, so. We've already paid for the one on the Clark, the first one on this list. That's the double culvert one. We've already done all the slip lining on that. So that part's done. The only thing left on that is paid.
So the only new bridge we're talking about is Sandy Street.
Yep. That's a straight replacement. It's a large bridge, beautiful. You know, I want to go up there and bike ride and, you know, take a look at it. The way it's over the stream is beautiful because coming down from the east side is wide running water. But right about where the bridge is, you run into where Michael Stream runs in and they go almost into dead water. So you've got that intersection. It's a very, very scenic location. It's nice to look at. But everyone basically should, if you can, you know, take a look at some of the bridges and just see what they look like.
A great spot for a watercolor.
Maybe we need a commissioner's field trip up there and go check it out, seeing this stuff.
Fishing poles.
Pretty spot.
Well, you know, it's like the bridge on the Deadwater Road that's decommissioned. I mean, it's still there, but you're not allowed to cross it.
Dead water, you know.
Yeah.
Talking about probably Moscow.
Yeah, so you have to go around by the new towers to
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
So you're not allowed. I mean, if this Sandy Stream Bridge, if we decided we didn't want to keep it up, would it still continue as like a snowmobile bridge or a recreational bridge or a walking bridge?
Snowmobiles don't cross that bridge.
So, but would we have? Are we under some obligation to just remove it entirely, or could we leave it there for?
That runs course.
We'd have to. I'd have to investigate that.
Yeah.
I know that the ATVs that use this road come in south of this bridge. I don't think there's anybody crossing this bridge with a snowmobile or an ATV. There's already existing trails.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're using this bridge for that, and certainly not that I can remember seeing. Not saying it's never used.
If we are going to close that bridge, you're going to close it off to all traffic except for pedestrian.
We would have to within a few years.
Because I don't want to have any liability on that for a
Right.
snowmobile or an ATV.
Right. We would remove it. We would just simply either block it off entirely or remove the structure. Because removing it, state will determine if we need to remove it. I would personally leave it in operation until they downgrade the weight a little bit more, because it's still it's in decent shape, but it's just getting weaker underneath if you're driving a heavy logging truck. And they do logging there, coming down Spruce Pond Road usually. But they don't often come across this bridge. It's not a heavy use bridge, but there are some that use it, fuel trucks, things like that.
Oh.
Okay.
But like I said, this is kind of the introduction to where we are.
Yeah.
When Bob Lightwater gets back from vacation, I'm sure we'll both come in front of you and we'll have his opinions and knowledge added to what I've told.
Well, that will be in September, our next
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah, we're done with August.
Yes, we are.
If I was meeting, so. Although we got to finish this one, though.
Well, we're not quite done. We're marching there.
Good second.
Any questions?
Not yet.
Okay, we'll continue this in the future then.
Great, thank
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Well, I hid my agenda for myself. What do I do with it? There it is. So, workshops are over. New agenda items, commissioners only. Do we want to remember to forget?
Okay. On
Go ahead.
You had-
new agenda items, yeah, I'd like to see us, and we can wait on this to talk to the sheriff, but I had thought about the fact that we probably should put a resolution on here for that 35,000. Opioid funds. But, remind me of what you're,
I thought you were talking about the vehicles.
I did too.
on the vehicles, I mean,
We have two things. You're talking about the opioid.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about the van, the one,
The van and the crew.
on the van, okay, yeah, the van, to hold it until next week, is that?
I would make a motion that we can address those tonight. We have one bid on the van, and we have the two bids on the cruisers, we know what they are. But the money's budgeted.
is there a second?
One being.
I'll second it for the purposes of
Okay,
discussion.
so we have a new agenda item that's going to be moved to the end to,
Well, we haven't voted on it, we just moved that.
if we do, it'll be 26,149. I just want to let you know that that's what it will be.
Oh, okay. So that's when we'll discuss it.
That's what we'll
Okay.
discuss it.
Sorry. Okay, good.
So is there any discussion on the new agenda item? On-
I mean, you're talking about going ahead and approving for the budgeting of those vehicles. No, I don't have an issue with that.
We're talking about putting it on the agenda
Right.
for a later
Voting
vote.
for it.
So we're not getting to the merits right now, we're just.
No, it's putting it on the agenda
Yeah.
for next week.
Just discussion about, do you want it on the agenda or not? Any reasons not to, or reasons to? Okay, seeing no discussions, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor of adding it to the agenda? Okay,
I'm presuming you want one resolution on both the jail vehicle and the sheriff's vehicle. What do you want?
Sure.
See why not? Yeah.
I can write it up in one.
so we're going to do one or not two? Okay, one is fine. Jail. Okay, so we're good there. And we are moving along to the administrator's report.
Hold on, time out. Scott, did you want to put the other thing on the agenda too? We kind of cut you off.
No, I wanted to, but we should talk to the sheriff first and get more information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I wanted to, but I want to talk to the sheriff first.
He should be involved in this, I guess. I mean, as much as I'd like to have it happen, I think we need to do that first.
And I think that he left understanding that. Okay, so no other new agenda items. Moving along, administrator's report.
Yes. So in your packets, where there used to be a tab for the employee handbook, there should be the full administrative code, which includes the handbook and all other, related county policies, procurement policies, disposal of equipment policies. So again, it's 120 some pages, but it's there for your reference in your books. Jonathan has also posted it on the county website. So if you ever go up to other government services, the administrative code's there. So if you have a question, I'm pleased to say that all those policies on there were updated within the last 3 years. And so by charter, the commissioners are to review and update policies at least every 5 years. So that kind of keeps us on track. You notice that Commissioner Stetkis and the sheriff are not here. They're both at a Maine Sheriff's Association Candidates Forum up in Penobscot County. And I was thinking about that as just reminding you that there will be gubernatorial candidates to talk with at the Maine County Commissioners Convention in September. So the governor's candidates will be there on Friday morning, which is Friday, September 25th. The convention itself starts with a golf tournament on Tuesday, and then meetings on Wednesday and Thursday, and then concludes Friday after breakfast. It's at Sunday River, beautiful facility over there. So I encourage you, if you have time for a day or all 3 days, I will be there. I'm sure Commissioner CZAC will be there. And so it'll be, we're hoping on a very informative time for that. So 22nd in the afternoon is the golf tournament. Then the 23rd and the 24th are all-day meetings, and some events in the evening and so forth. And then Friday morning is, I think, is the 25th. So, the only other thing I was going to bring up in my report is just to get your consensus. Do you want to have a conversation about my evaluation? And I don't say that spitefully. I'm fine. I think I'm doing a good job, and you think I'm doing a good job. Okay, that's it. But if you want to have a conversation, and I know we've had trouble with having enough commissioners here, and that I wasn't here. Typically, we try to do this in July. If you want to do it at an upcoming meeting, I'm glad to do it. I'm glad to do it in public session. I'm glad to do it in private session. So I kind of leave it in your hands if you want to have a conversation with me in greater detail.
Well, are you asking whether we should evaluate you? We're talking about an evaluation?
It would be considered an evaluation. I'm not asking. I'm under contract for another year. I'm not asking for any change in my wage. I'd just like to have a conversation with the board as to what are your priorities. How can I better, meet your expectations? That's really. I don't want to give you a form to fill out and rate me all 5s like you probably would. So, out of 10.
Well, putting aside what I would put on your evaluation, but I think it's just good policy to have evaluations of employees so that we don't get in situations that we find out. For whatever reason, there's a shift, and all of a sudden we realize we never evaluated someone for the last years when we should have. So, you hear what I'm saying, Don?
No, I don't.
No, but I just think it's a good policy to have regular evaluations. They don't have to be very detailed or.
Right.
I think that we should have an evaluation, and that would be done in executive session, but I think we should also have an open discussion of policies and expectations that are general amongst the commissioners and the administrator that everybody can be involved in and understand. So there's 2 levels.
Would I suggest that maybe we do a workshop? Maybe it is before our meeting at 2 o'clock. Maybe we invite department heads to come and sit in here and hear from them, to hear from Mr. Curtis, to convey our concerns. Expect them all during the working hours, so it's not, during the day, and maybe come out of it with a more firm grasp of direction and maybe some suggestions. Maybe the emergency manager will have some suggestions, and maybe it's something that's going to take 2 of these, because an hour is not long, or 1 o'clock, whatever. I think that's what he's asking for, is that guidance. Now, department heads don't need to be, maybe we can start with Mr. Curtis, and if if we feel we need department heads, then we bring them in later. But that would be my suggestion, is we do a separate session outside of the meeting, because I think it's important that the commissioners and Mr. Curtis and the department heads are all on the same page.
So, are you talking about evaluating all the different department
No.
heads, or having them all contribute to the
It's
evaluation?
a comprehensive plan. It's a
Strategic plan.
session.
Strategic plan.
Careful using that strategic plan language. That gets shot down pretty quick by
No, I know.
some members. But I don't object to the idea or the concept. And I think we can frame it in such a way that really, to your point, everybody that's hearing the same thing is hearing it all at the same time. So there's an expectations being set, questions being asked and answered. That's fine.
Concerns being addressed, and then all rowing in the same direction.
Yeah. I think that's healthy. I think it's good. That's all I had. I can work on that.
And I like Don's term of comprehensive plan.
Excellent. That's all I had.
Okay.
Finance.
Patrick?
Status quo.
Okay.
Any extra bills come in? You said last time there may be a few.
Oh, for the year end?
Yeah.
Only the ones that Tim would bring me. There was a $13,200 bill that we owe Waldo that was brought in late, so I adjusted the numbers. The numbers I gave you last time we met, it would be about $13,000 less. It's related to Waldo professional service that they're providing us.
As we started that contract in May, we had 2 months in the previous fiscal year. Waldo's on a calendar fiscal year, so it didn't matter to them. So they just billed us for the last quarter, which included 2 months in the last fiscal, 2 months in this fiscal. So,
But other than that, there's nothing new that was coming. And they had Monday, I had a teleconference with the auditors. I submitted all the paperwork they requested today, so we did pretty good.
The Waldo thing was a 6-month contract for the services, correct?
it was 8 months. It was to the end of this year, started in May and ran till the end of this year. Yep.
Okay.
Unless you guys have any questions.
No more questions, I don't think. And David, have you given us your full report on the bridges and anything else?
One issue I'd like to bring up. I've had a request from a person in reference to a memorial stone we have at the community building in Rockwood. It was first put up in 1991, I believe. Has to do with there was a family in Rockwood that had, I think, somebody that was in service pass away. So there's a memorial stone, and at one time there were 3 flags put behind this. And somewhere in past history, the flags were all removed, and there are now 2 trees on each side of the stone, one of those real narrow ones that go up. They're all green. I think it looks good the way it is. I have talked to everybody I can find up there. Nobody knows when the flags were taken down that long ago. And I don't think it's necessary to replace the flags. But I did want to get some input from you folks. I know if we replace the flags, we've got to arrange solar powered lighting for the flags. There's no one taking down every sunset. So they have to stay up, they have to be lit if they stay up. So we'd have to arrange some solar-powered lighting for that. And I don't see the need for it, but I did want to get some input from the commissioners on what your thoughts are.
Flagpoles there?
No.
You do poles and flags.
Yeah, we should have to put everything up. I went and checked, took a picture of the stone, and I looked behind it, and there's nothing that held the flags up. No,
And this is
concrete platform with holes or anything like that. So
county real estate, this is?
yeah, this is kind of a lot. We have a fire station on one side of the driveway. We have the community building on the other, and this is on the lawn of the community building.
Is there a flag at the fire station?
Any other flags around?
There may be one on the fire station out front, one that they could take down because there's always people.
Someone sort of asking that we do this? Is this?
It makes things more complicated. Trying to get people up there to always be there.
No, but is there somebody that lives in Rockwood says, I want the county to put those flagpoles back up? Or?
One person.
I would invite any veterans organization up there in the Greenville area. Compel them. We wouldn't object if they want to put a flag up. If this person wants to donate a flag, pole and light and make it compliant to, we won't object. I would not object to that being on the county land and honor that. But
I think my objection is not so much the installation, but the care afterwards. Because there's regulations or there's ordinances, whatever it is, on if you put up a flag, what you have to do with it. We have flags here, we have flags across the street.
Yeah,
I agree with Don.
Yeah.
no, I think all is well.
Huh?
I think all is well.
I think it looks pretty good the way it is. And that's it. That's the only thing I wanted to add.
All right.
Dave, just for the sake of continuity, did you want to comment on the resolution on the Lake Moxie Road?
Oh, yes. With the contract, we have two contracts that are much later than our normal snow plowing contracts because they don't strictly involve the county. The one that's on the agenda today is for the Lake Moxie Road, which we share with Fort Plantation. So way back in May, I was writing up the contract, getting it all set up, and I sent it to the Forks. And there was a delay between we got action on it again, but we got the bid in, which is included in the contract that you have to sign. And he went up a little bit. He's our current contractor. He filled out the bid sheet. He was the lowest bidder. And so basically, we're just going to go forward with him as our contractor. And you just require a sign, and I can get off my hands on it. I can take it up on a meeting in West Forks tonight, so I can take it up and have the Forks representative sign also.
Was there more than one bid?
That's the lowest bid. I don't remember getting any others. It's an area, it's only 5 miles of road,
Yeah.
like what you said. So no one from Bingham or Jackson is going to travel for that.
I was just asking if there are other bids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
Is it the same bid that West Forks accepted?
the Forks, yes.
And is
Yeah.
it the same guy that's been doing
Joined
it?
together on that.
Is it the same person that did it before?
Yes.
We're just renewing.
We had the person that was doing it kind of quit at the end of his contract, didn't want to do it anymore, and we put out all kinds of bids and we could get nobody to bid on it. We literally had to go to a guy that has the equipment to do it up there and ask him, please take this on. So he did. He's charging well for it, there's no question of that, but he's also the only one that was willing to do it. So from our standpoint, he does a good job, and the road's safe, and he keeps it clean.
We have residents on that road?
Yes.
Year-round road?
Yeah, it's a very well-traveled road for what it is. More in the summer than the winter, but a lot of snowmobile issues that road too.
So this is Andy Webb, right?
Yeah, yeah, this is the road they want to run ATVs up and down, and we have hearings on.
Maybe put some plows on the ATVs. Let them take care of it.
There you go.
Good.
Yeah, it's, we have full-time residents on that road and a bunch of seasonals too.
And the sheriff ducked out. There's a buttonhole about the opioid.
Maybe we can get him back in.
Tim, can you see when the sheriff went? If he can get back in? Oh.
Thanks, man. You'll do it faster now. Anything to report?
No report today. Business as usual. I chased him down to the bathroom.
So, Sheriff,
Yes, always done.
we have asked for your report, and you can tell us about the Sheriff Commissioners Forum.
Yeah, that was going well. There were a few candidates that did not were not able to attend. But I think it went fairly well. Commissioners and sheriffs had a good representation of that meeting. As far as report, it's fair week. We've been studying at the fair. I spoke with one of the, I think, the directors, and the attendance was up.
And then we have a question because the Fire Department came in with a request for $35,000 to go to T-shirts.
From the opioid funding.
I think $35,000 in funding, so, out of the opioid funds. And we did not know how that would affect the ongoing program. But we were alerted that there's a grant that's outstanding that might relieve some of the pressures.
Yeah, I mean, as with any grant, until they make the award, you really don't know. We've been very aggressive going after those grants. The credit really goes to Dr. O'Connor. She's really led the charge on that. We haven't got word if we're going to be successful in getting that grant or not. If we are successful in getting that grant, it will give us. So the goal really, right, is to try to get to that 1115 waiver approval. And so we keep trying to cobble together these grants. But to your question, that we haven't got a reply whether we're successful in this particular grant that we're going after. That would give us relief for some time.
You know what the lead time is for the answer on that grant?
I don't. I can get it for you.
There's one that's supposed to hear back by the end of September.
Yeah. We have a committee that county administrators on that committee, Dr. Connor, Patrick, to look at the grants that we have, and so the county administrator list. We will know at the end of September whether this one that we have now is successful.
I would say we just kind of wait.
We can. But just a quick question to go further on that, because they're asking for the $35,000. How will that impact your opioid funds? Is it going to take it to a point where it's questionable without this grant that it's needed for something else?
So Scott even put in a request to buy a couple of defibrillator refurbished machines, about $35,000, trying to help address the EMS shortage and ambulance shortage in the area. And I preface that by saying many vendors that sell to ambulance and fire are calling them saying, hey, opioid money can be used for this. So the commissioners were concerned that if we start using the opioid money for fire and ambulance, then people are going to beat a path to our door, and we don't want to jeopardize the money we're trying to set aside for the jails program.
And Scott Hagan probably has a legitimate need for that. There's probably no question about that. I'm probably a little selfish to protect those until I can secure those. Because we know that we really haven't had a death since release when it comes to drug overdose. So what we're doing is a successful program, and the funding is tenuous, right? But we would know if we have 2 or 3 grants that are out there. We don't cut to the chase. We don't know whether we'll get that money.
And the good news is they're not pressing this as an urgent matter, so we can afford to wait.
I didn't get the impression, but I like what Commissioner Cizak said. It prompted a greater discussion, but I don't think there's a sense of urgency to need to vote on this right now.
Yeah, comes with the grants.
So if you want to wrap your head around Patrick's Sublocade funding spreadsheet, we get this every month from Patrick. And here's the short answer. Currently, there are $1.7 million of funds available for the Sublocade program. That includes some of the grants. That includes money from the state of Maine that's allocated toward MAT. And that includes $836,000 of our opioid settlement funds.
And this is for the county.
This is all county. This is just for the county Sublocade program.
Yep.
No other program in the county, just the county jail Sublocade program. So there's $1.7 million available. It costs us about $800,000 a year to operate this program. That gives you an idea.
Yeah.
And we've been working with the pharmaceutical people. We've been able to negotiate the price down, but it's close to $1,600 a shot.
Yeah. Well, that helps me with determining how much of that 800,000 that we have would be jeopardized if we used it elsewhere.
Right.
It's tipping the balance. And we have plenty of time to wait, so.
And we have other areas.
Wait.
I mean, it's just, this is a successful program, and to defund a successful program with any amount.
Yeah. Well,
We have
we're not
other places.
funding it.
We want to fund it. We want to give them the things.
Yeah.
Just- There's other areas.
Yeah.
We can give them the things.
Yeah.
There's other areas. Yeah.
So I think we should wait until we get the numbers.
Yeah. They get the grant?
If they can apply for a grant. And if they get the grant, we can
Yeah.
go further. Thank you. And moving along. Did we miss anybody? No? Yeah, we got your report.
Once again.
So, on new business, regarding resolution 26-145, that's kind of moot, and there are no applications that have been completed at this time, so we're going to move forward on that to resolution 26-146 to authorize the hiring of Michael Brewster as a corrections officer at the Somerset County Jail.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Thank you. And or unorganized territory, resolution 26-147 to authorize a winter maintenance contract for Lake Moxie Road.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All in favor? Let's go. And warrants, resolution 26-148 to approve the treasurer's warrant for the general fund, Somerset County Jail.
Didn't we have another?
It's 149, so it'll come.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do that.
I apologize.
I do that a lot.
Unorganized territories and anti-tax revenue for a total of $524,063.75.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor? Good. And for resolution 26-149, we have correction vehicle and sheriff's vehicle. The correction vehicle being the Chrysler, or that one. Where's my Chrysler?
I could recommend that if you're going to award the bid for that Chrysler Pacifica, just put the high bid amount. Don't do the net amount.
Okay.
If we decide whether or not to trade that, you're just doing that
All right.
high amount, whatever the price of the car.
What was the price of the vehicle?
So let's do that.
We're not going to warranty.
The Pacifica was $46,583. 83. 46,583. There is an extended warranty, but it's not in the bid. It's just a. So we'll skip over that. And the second part of this is for the. I kind of wish it was two separate issues, but the two bids, one from O'Connor's, which is $290,660 plus the extended warranty of $28,075 for a total of $318,735. And that was from O'Connor's. And then there's the Heights bid of $299,135 with no extended warranty.
Mr. Chairman, So if we're voting on this now, shouldn't we just be voting on the, let's leave the, if in the event that the O'Connor's bid wins, then don't we vote separately on the extended warranty?
The sheriff doesn't recommend the extended warranties. That's the extended
But
warranties.
the way you phrased the thing, you included it to me.
I think what you're looking at is $290 compared to $299.
Okay, it's just that the way that this is written out, it strikes me as that this extended warranty was within the bid as part of it, but we can,
I think it's optional.
okay.
Right.
And it's up to us really to accept any and all bids, so we can accept it as the 290,660.
Yeah, that's what I think is implied, not the extended warranty.
So we need to make a motion to accept both bids, but which bid, and that means, both bids means the corrections vehicle, and the other bid is on the sheriff's vehicle, and whoever makes that motion is going to make that monetary amounts. And tell us who they want to go with.
Well, to get the ball rolling, I will. I'm supposed to pick one?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I have a question.
Okay.
And maybe this goes to table.
We need to get a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the bid on the corrections van as priced and accept the bid from Heights Chevrolet as it's. And my thing about that is, yes, it's a little bit more than O'Connor's. And then we don't need the extended warranty. These vehicles are going to be way over the mileage that would meet that. So, and I think that from my perspective in the history of what we have for service from Heights, I think, that's why I think we should accept that bid from Heights. And that's what my motion is.
I'll second it for.
Okay, discussion.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend any more for the same vehicles. They service some of our clients. I get it, but we want to encourage people to bid, and we start accepting bids that are $10,000 more. O'Connor's not coming back, and we have just committed ourselves.
So
I'm good with that. No, we think.
no, I said, but within this discussion, okay, is O'Connor's requiring the extended warranty or no? Okay.
No, he said 58, 132 per vehicle. If you want more, you can get them. If you don't, you don't.
That's right. So we said.
I mean, historically, Heights has been real favorable in terms of their service to our vehicles with minimal cost. So I don't know if that will change, but that's just my,
My 2 cents would be, we had talked about, when we started this, is there something to be gained from a closer scrutiny of these bids by our administrative? Is there any other information that we?
No, I mean, these are two relatively local people. Sometimes when we scrutinize bids that have a significantly lower price or for out of state, like we've received in the past, that would make sense. Again, that's why I didn't put it on the agenda, because I don't know what's in there until we open them.
Yeah.
And so if you feel that you've seen enough to make a decision, then certainly you can do what you're doing right now.
if my opinion is sometimes more is less, and I think it'll be less expensive, even though Heights is more on the other end for our services to these vehicles. So.
Well, yeah.
Well, the thing about that is that the warranty on the service applies to any. So if you purchase from O'Connor's, Heights still has to honor the warranty.
We have heard over the years apocryphal stories and true stories about how we have gotten extra benefit, extra mile out of a local dealership. Does that mean it wouldn't be available if they didn't actually sell us the cars? I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. If we brought in a car that we bought from East Overshoe, Tennessee, to our local dealer and said, can you fix this? Are they going to say, well, no, well, we're going to fix it, but we don't like it. We're going to make it.
I can't speak for the Height family, but I can speak from car dealer experience. We're going to service your car no matter where you bought it, because we make more money on the service end than we do on the sales end. So, and there's your labor hour is your labor hour. So,
Yeah.
I only have one. I love the Heights. We are unequivocally discouraging anyone from bidding in this process to accept a bid $10,000 more than a state of Maine business competing for that business. And it's we wonder why we have 2 bids instead of 10. I just can't. We can't look at them and say, I love Walt. I mean, I get it, but we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot down the road if we do not do other bids.
I'm ready to vote.
So we package these votes together.
Yep.
Unfortunately, package these votes together. So
Were
ready to
you
vote?
talking about the corrections van as packaged with the other ones?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I think we should vote separately on the corrections van.
Well, I should have too. That's what I would have said, but suddenly
I thought we were doing
into
that.
one.
It's one motion.
Well, I'd make a motion to amend the motion to vote separately on the corrections van.
point of order, just vote this up or down.
Yeah, let's.
You have a motion and a second on the table. Vote it up and down, and if it
And then we
doesn't,
can make another motion.
if it doesn't pass, then you can make another one.
Okay, just refresh my memory.
This-
Where's the bid from the van come from?
Heights.
Height,
All right, okay.
up in the Dodge place in Madison,
Height, Chrysler.
right?
Okay, yeah, okay, got it.
Are you ready to vote? All in favor of the motion? Any opposed? Okay.
Gonna bite us.
Yeah,
I would make another motion if I could.
you may.
I would make a motion that we accept the $296.60 from O'Connor's on those vehicles and the $46,583 from Heights Chrysler for those vehicles. And we purchase the vehicles.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Opposed, okay. We're good to go. With that, miscellaneous discussion items, commissioners only. Yes, John? Raise your hand.
I'm good.
All right. So at this moment, we will recess to execute documents.
Good.
Is there anything other than the warrants that need to be signed?
Yeah, you got it.
You got to read it below the scale.
That's the bottle contract.
I'll see you next time.
You will.
There's 2 of these.
Yep, two will. One I'll leave up there.
Pass that over to John.
Is that all the signatures we have, or do we?
No, that was budget. Not the budget.
All right, while you guys are signing, I'm going to... That's one that has the fork sign too. And we'll be opening bids for the Hayfield and...
Is that it for signatures?
Next meeting.
There you go, sir.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
We don't have one
you.
signed for the new
Yeah.
hire? Oh, good.
You got it off? Write it off? Nail them down. That way they're easy to keep track of.
Yeah, okay.
signatures.
I think so. I mean, it's
I
nothing.
make a motion, we adjourn.
What's that?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Can we do that without the chair?
Sure. Three of us vote.
I guess the vice chair could do it in his absence.
Seconded, all voted. Yes. Yes.
The chair's taking care of other business. I mean, and my purpose with that is I think we're going to get stung by O'Connor's because I know a lot about that outfit and they're not.
Well, I'm operating on the theory that the vehicles are identical.
I want to see this one you guys do now.
I had 404. Yeah. I thought we're going to blow right through these things. Dave said,
We adjourned while you were in the bathroom.
I don't blame you.
See ya.
Since you had all three, you had a quorum there, so it was good.
Your back is feeling better.
I hope so too.
How long has it been this way?
It really tweaked out. We went to Acadia on Saturday and I walked for about 4 or 5 miles. And then on Sundays, like, oh, this is a little bit, but Monday it tweaked out.
Yeah.
So
You're taking it like that. Advil and Tylenol?
I got prednisone for a steroid and then
That's
it. Thank you for making sure. It says it'll make me irritable and hungry. I said, oh, that's no different.
Did you get it signed?
There's your stuff, signed, sealed, delivered.
See you later, guys.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Have a good night.
This all your stuff?
Well, yeah, I'll take all that.
Doesn't look like anything I don't want.